Welcome to Chick Chat with Unapologetically Karen, the podcast for women by women. I'm Karen Webb, architect, author, entrepreneur, creative junkie, and your host. Chick Chat is your resource for building your big, bold, and beautiful feminine life. So join me for some eye-opening and jaw-dropping dialogue that has people talking. Welcome to Chick Chat. Today's guest is very exciting. Today I have Willow Bradner. Willow is affectionately known as the accidental psychic. She stands out in the psychic medium community for her unique blend of humor, which we all need, relatability, and genuine insight. She is discovered her psychic abilities that led her on a very unexpected journey into the depths of spirituality and mediumship. Her readings are not just sessions, they're transformative experiences where clients find clarity, connection, and comfort through her ability to communicate with the other side. Willow's approach demystifies the mystical, making profound insights and healing messages. Very excited to have you. How are you, Willow? How are you today? Absolutely. I am so delighted. This group is really mostly a sisterhood of women who just want to be able to know more about themselves, thrive in their lives, and really help each other to rise. So perfect. So tell me a little. Let's start with how in the world did you start on this path of with psychic ability?
Well, I was a hairdresser for
Okay.
13 years when I did start to notice things were shifting in my business. People were coming to my house on the weekends, calling me after I'd done their hair, asking me for what we call advice. At least that's what I assumed, is that they were asking for advice. And I've now told this story so many times that I look back on it and I sort of laughed myself that I didn't notice it at the time. Why they didn't phone a friend, why they thought, to call a hairdresser for this set advice. And at the time, ultimately, I really just thought I was the smartest person in the room. That's why they were calling a hairdresser and not their friend. It wasn't really for me until my wedding night, actually, that I recognized officially what the F was going on. And that was everybody had left the party. It was just my brand new spanking husband and my parents. And we were in the backyard, just sort of around a campfire, regaling in the story, regaling in the day. And all of a sudden my voice changed octave and my body shifted. And it was actually my dad that recognized his own father coming out of me. And it was in that moment.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay. Wow. So were you aware of that shift as it was happening?
We were very much, in the bag at that point. We had
Yes.
copious amounts of alcohol. So yes and no. I always like to say that psychic was always a drunk party trick that I wasn't totally aware of. But I had never channeled for those on the other side at that stage. And so my father's father comes through. And that's like first invitation when my dad recognizes it. Then my husband's late mother starts coming through. And by the way, I've never met either of these people. They had long passed before I came in.
Oh, okay.
So my sweet, sweet husband, who did not sign up for Girl Who Speaks to Dead People, is like,
yeah.
Hold, please. Okay.
Yeah, right. Is annulment still an option?
I think we've had a lot to drink. This is getting weird. Let's go to bed. And instead of going to bed with my sweet brand new husband and instead of consummating my marriage that night, I stayed up and talked to dead people with my parents.
Oh my God. Now, when you're saying they recognize the person, is it from the mannerisms, the tone of the voice? Did they say who they were through you or no?
At that moment, for me, it was as close to that movie Ghost is the best way to put it. I was very much in that moment of feeling like something had jumped in my body and was using me to communicate.
Amazing.
It is no longer like that because I have boundaries and have been trained and understand how to use the tool now. But at that very moment in time, it felt very sort of out of my nature and out of my control. And again, it felt like something was sitting inside of me.
Okay. Wow. So is that the accidental part of accidental psychic?
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
accidentally had been psychicking
Yeah.
for a lot of years without real acknowledgement of it, without real understanding of it. And it was really like, I mean, this, we all have this story where somebody has randomly told us something that they shouldn't have told us that we weren't expecting, or we've heard the stories of a woman running up to another person at a grocery store and telling them something about their lives. I did not know that that was such a deep breach. I did not know that what I was doing was in conflict of this thing.
Hmm.
I now will not psychic without permission. I do not drink and psychic any longer. I'm
Yeah.
it's I'm real clear on my boundaries now, but at the time I just didn't know. I really
Yeah.
truly, up until the loved ones on the other side arrived, I just truly thought it was so smart. What a
Okay,
dum-dum.
I love that. Okay. So, and now before that, let me just say, so did you have any other dreams that were premonition like or
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I honestly should have seen it all coming. I mean, from the time I'm 20, like I used to have dreams about coworkers, from them being knocked up and then having a miscarriage, to finding somebody's keys and calling them and being like, "Are you missing your keys? I think they're on top of your refrigerator."
oh
Or
my gosh.
telling somebody like, "Oh, are you and your wife in a big fight right now? Here's what's going on." Like,
Mm-hmm.
and anytime like anybody ever mentions anything about their jobs, their careers, entrepreneurial experiences, I had so much insight. I feel like I'm Match.com for people and was always pairing people and telling them where to meet in person, and then they would. So it's always been there, but in my opinion,
Wow.
and ladies, I'm sure that your listeners feel this way all the time as well. I assumed that this stuff was for special people.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we never assign specialness to ourselves. We never
Right.
assign intelligence or any of that to ourselves. We assign specialness to like a James Van Praagh, to somebody
Mm-hmm.
who's on to a John Edwards who's on TV.
Yes. Right. Right.
Those guys get to do this, not me, you know.
Wow. I'm so amazed by that. Okay. Um, okay. So really you hadn't thought of it until that night. What do you think caused it that night?
It's interesting. You meet people. I had been a sort of spiritual person. I grew up in a very non-religious household, non-religious background. Um, my parents had sometimes played as if we were Buddhist, but really not. Um, so all I can say is, having entered into the spiritual realm at that point, starting to do the homework at that point, starting to try to understand what this thing was at that point. Everything that I can sort of say is something about getting married, something
Hmm.
about finding my person and creating a more grounded experience in my life. I was a very untethered, wild child of a woman prior to meeting my husband. He really is like my ground. He is my tether. He is my steady
Yeah.
Eddie to my very like not steady personality type.
And how old were you? How long ago was it? And how old were you?
I was a whole 34, by the way, like
Okay.
just an old lady by the time I had met him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but I think there was something about stability that created that avenue for this to
Hmm.
really come out. And he is somebody who, despite really not signing up for this, has never deterred me from it, has never said, I'd really rather you don't do this. He's always been like, I mean, if it's something that you want to do and it's really inspired, go do the thing.
Right.
I
Right.
think it took me having my person so that I was no longer distracted from trying to find my person.
Which is a
A
huge distraction. That's so
massive,
true. I used to
massive.
think because I was married, divorced, and then single for a very long time. And then about 13 years ago, met my now husband and et cetera. And yeah, it is. It's so distracting. It feels like it's another like side hustle.
Job. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a side hustle is finding your person, finding your love match because yeah, it takes time, it takes energy. It definitely takes part of your thinking and your
Yeah.
brain is busy with that. That's interesting. Okay. So, wow. And then it from that point, how did you learn to kind of work with it, set boundaries, manage it?
Well, so the long short story is I remained a hairdresser for almost an entire additional year and basically like kind of put it away. Decided like,
Mhm.
you know, fun drunk party trick, whatever. But it was for me, it was actually when my daughter was born. And I had my mom's voice in my head. My mom used to tell us girls that we could be and do anything that we wanted. But my
Mhm.
mom was a stay-at-home mom and she did not have whatever it was that she needed in her world, the confidence, the belief in herself, whatever it was,
Right.
to go forth and go after what she wanted, but she told us we could. And it really occurred to me in having my own person that I was like, oh, I have to be her leader. I have to be her guide. I have to be the person to show her what that means because it's the part that I've had to learn all by myself.
Right.
So I heard that like you get to be and do anything you want in this life. How do I show that to my kid? And I'm like, I'm a successful hairdresser. I own a hair salon. And now I think I'm going to be a
Now.
psychic medium. What?
Wow. Okay. Oh
So
my.
So I really took to that task as like, I'm doing it for my kiddo. I'm doing it to show her that you can be and do anything. And I really want to prove to myself and other women that like, whatever it is that we think we can't do, what if we assign the task? What if we are committed? What if we do the work? And so that day that I made that decision, I started calling everybody I knew in the psychic world, which,
Mhm.
was two people. And
Okay.
and I asked them like, where does one go to learn how to do this? And so I started out with a really weird guy whose name I will not mention. And
Okay.
he was out there. Like he talked in weird language. He was super woo and kind of icky to me. Like it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
was super not resonant to me. And I just felt like if I have to do this to be that, then I'm not doing it. I'm
Okay.
uninterested.
Yeah, I'm
If I
out.
have to like I don't want to meditate pillow top palms up. I don't want to have to talk in an alien voice. I don't want to have to, smudge every 5 minutes. I'm super uninterested in that. So then I started finding other women like me. So Rebecca Rosen here in Denver is prolific, beautiful, looks like me on
Mhm.
stage. A woman by the name of Deb Shepherd, also here in Denver. Also just like a basic human being who happens to be able to speak to those on the other side. And then she led me to train under Sonia Choquette, who's a more well-known, um, world-renowned psychic. And then as well, James Von Prock was on the list. So I did get to train with him. I did more
Mhm.
online with him, but I met Sonia Choquette and worked with her for off and on for 4 years. Um, those guys taught me boundaries. Those guys taught me how to do this thing. And more or
Amazing.
less, I think the lessons were how to trust yourself, how to block out your ego, and or how to just let your ego not be in it so much.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
then how to build the boundaries so that I can turn the volume on and turn the volume off on it.
I
Like
see.
I'm a mom. I'm on the PTA. I'm the freaking vice president of my HOA for crying out loud. Like I
You
cannot
don't
be
wanna
psychic. I cannot be
you're like,
I
"Excuse me, pausing the meeting because
right. Like
I see
I
something."
can't
Oh
be
my.
getting downloads all day long. Like
No.
that would be infuriating and exhausting and I'm uninterested. And again, like I don't want to be so woo that I can't be a person in the
They
world.
can't I totally get that. Now, when you say the downloads, so exactly how do you receive the messages, if you can share? Do you see it? Do
Yeah.
you hear it? Do you
I'm
feel
an
it?
all
Which
of. It's an
okay.
all and above. So they have all the different, claries, as I call it. So are you clairvoyant, which is like, do you see the
Mm,
pictures and whatever?
okay.
I say I'm basically claircognizant, which is the essence of all of them. So I can see, smell, feel, hear all the things. Um, as soon as I turn the volume on, which I do a landing meditation with absolutely everybody, whether it be in person groups, what have you, it's the
Mhm.
one cheesy thing that I have to do because it's my on-off switch. It's how I decided to do it.
Exactly, right. You have to kind of put it out there, "I'm ready," or "And now I'm not."
Right. So once I bring in your guides, your angels, your loved ones, occasionally the aliens, for that person. Once we have everybody in the room, then you get to ask whatever question you want. You, the
Okay.
client, get to say, I want to speak to somebody on the other side, or I'm really looking for love, or what do you think about this career? And I mean, I've had people ask about their living tortoise. I've had people ask about their job and their boss shows up as like really being the cog.
Wow.
It comes in really clearly. So I always ask a series of questions to make sure I'm on the right energy. I validate before I say anything. I make sure that I'm in your right channel, because it's like
Mhm.
I'm jumping into your energetic. I want to make
Right.
sure I'm in the right location. And then I qualify, like if I'm speaking to a loved one, I qualify that loved one. The loved ones, because I was a hairdresser, always show me their hair first.
Oh
So
my God, that
I
is
almost
so
always
cute.
qualify everybody by their
By
hair.
the hairdo. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so
that's
they'll
great.
often show me their hair. They'll show me a little bit of their style. They'll show me some specifics depending on how good at communication they are. And that is also very dependent. Some are really great at communication. Some are like really playing Pictionary hardcore, like they want to play the game too.
Yes.
And then we can communicate from that point forward. But I can then feel, see, experience them. They no longer jump in my body. I do keep them outside of my body.
Okay. Wow.
And then with the psychic part, which is quite different than the medium part, I'm communicating with your guides and angels predominantly. And the guides and angels are really good at offering direction. And so I can see pictures, hear sound, and get like kind of a download that feels like I'm reading a paragraph, if it is the best way to
And that
explain
is
it.
about, and that is more the psychic part, not the mediumship part.
Right.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see.
With the medium part, I'm connecting to your person. And so they're also
Right.
showing me people in your life, things in your life. And again, we're playing Pictionary, so I'm doing my best to interpret their versions of your life with them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
always fun and fun-y depending on how it goes. Like one
Right.
of my first ever mediumship experiences outside of my family was my girlfriend Jess. And her grandma came in, and her grandma was like showing me these terrible maroon polyester pants with camel toe.
Oh dear.
And they were
And why?
they were a little short. Well, it was the perfect, like, as soon as I bring it up, my friend Jess is laughing with tears in her eyes because they used to all make fun of her pants. And so grandma is so easily coming in and showing that she knew that everybody was making fun of her pants and that she always had a
Oh,
camel
that's
toe.
great.
So
Oh
to
my
me,
God.
it's like they do know that I want a funny twist, and I'm not like,
Yeah.
yes, I
Yeah.
can do hard things. Yes, I can do serious things, but I always want it to be the light and funny grandma. Like
Yeah, of course.
I prefer, like, in the loved one space, like I am not your typical medium. There are the mediums out there who are really good at hard things. I am the medium that just wants grandma's cookie recipe. Okay.
Right. Okay.
I am a
Right.
cookies and rainbow style psychic. Like I want to find you, really, my true goal here is to find you the best direction to the greatest happiness in your life. And if there is somebody on the other side that you were grieving, that you missed, let's connect, let's clean that line up for you so that you can get back to doing the things that you are purposely driven to get to in this life.
Okay. Wow. Well, on that note, I would love to do a mediumship thing with you right now if we could. Uh, because I do feel like I'm right in, you just described me at that end there. So yeah, so that would be great. So
Okay.
would you mind doing that? And
Yeah.
how do we go? And you can do this via, we're just so listeners know, we're doing this basically through like a Zoom call. So the
That's
person
right.
doesn't have to be sitting next to you, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So I Zoom people around the globe. So you can see me in person, but I live in a tiny mountain town in Colorado. You're welcome to drive here.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so Miss Karen, what I'm going to do is we're going to do the landing meditation. I'm going to take you through
Okay.
a smaller version than what I generally
Okay.
do with people. And so for our listeners, you're welcome to as well join us and close your eyes if you want to participate. To me, this is also the opening for you guys to really understand your own intuition and who you're communicating with and who you're deriving those intuitive hits from. So feel
Yes.
free to also join along with us. And then when we are out of the meditation, I will simply turn to you and ask how I might serve, and you can bring in your person. Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
cool. All
All
right.
right,
So
here we go, listeners.
for
If
our
you aren't
listeners,
driving, don't
do not close your eyes.
don't close your eyes. Okay, now we're good, Willow. Go ahead.
All right. So with just eyes relaxed, we'll say, we're going to start with a deep inhale through the nose when you feel ready, breathing all the way in through the nose. And at the top of that breath, just hold for a moment. And then on the exhale, releasing out of the mouth. And I want you to breathe at whatever pace feels right for your body. And the reason that we say what's right for your body is I want you to notice what it is for you to take the intentional time to breathe. That breath in is an invitation for you to bring in the energy that you need at this time. If you are always running around, that breath in is helping to really bring in your personal existence, to supplant your whole energy inside of you, and to bring in the energies that your body and your system needs to produce and to do all the amazing things that you're up to and at in this life right now. In that exhale, I want you to see if anything is not a fit inside of you right now. Looking at that inner critic, that inner judge, if there's any fear or doubt, anything that's really holding you back from the places that you would like to go at this time, imagining, at least for right now, that that breath out is a way to just release, relinquish, and excavate anything that's inside of your system that is no longer working and in here for your higher good. I want you to also look at that exhale as a way to release any obligatory energies and energies that don't belong to you. So anybody that might just be stuck inside that is causing you just a hang up arm or just really standing in the way of where you want to go in your life, breathe them out and just allow them to get out of your system. Every breath out gives us more room to breathe in. And so that next breath in is again an invitation for you, an invitation for your existence, and an invitation for more energy for you. With that, we invite in your personal guides, the guides who are here operating as logistics coordinators for your life. These guides come in with clarity and knowing for the path that you're currently on, and they're here simply to open doorways of opportunity and potential for you, as well as introduce you to people that are going to be your great helpers at this time. The guides are here as well to help with any energetics that feel like you're not able to manage, helping you to get to the lightness of your own being. In another breath, we do invite in your angelic team, the angels who have been with you since birth and beyond. These angels come with really beautiful clarity and knowing for why you've chosen this lifetime. And they are here to illuminate the path that is ahead for you and to help build an inspiration and confidence in every decision that you make. The angels are also here to spill tea on anybody in your life that is of the living, if you need higher levels of communication and understanding for the people in your life. And next, we do invite in any loved ones, including the fur babes, into this space and into this experience. As we invite in the loved ones, we do ask that they come only as they are invited by their first name, and that they come with clear identification so that we will recognize them as they were on earth and so that we may know them as they are today. And finally, I just invite you into this space and into this experience, feeling into this idea that you are guided, loved, and supported in all ways by these guides, angels, and loved ones. You are not alone. And on a simple exhale, you may open your eyes and we can begin.
Okay, that was actually very beautiful and very calming. Like, did my voice
Thank you for
totally
indulging.
change? It feels like it. Wonderful.
Thank you for indulging me. It helps me to connect to your spirit, to where you are. And one of the things that came up that I wasn't expecting saying was just the obligatory energies. Sometimes when I'm looking at energies, I can see the critic and the judge and the doubts and the fears. Those are all pretty standard operating procedures for most of us. But that obligatory energy also seems to be there in you right now. And it just might be that you're running tail and you're just trying to chase after people. And sometimes obligation can be in the way or in conflict of the things that we would quote unquote rather be doing. And so
Interesting.
just in the space of that exhale, just allowing yourself to bring more of your essence in and release a little bit more of that obligatory energy.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
On that, who do you want to bring in, my dear?
I would love to bring in my mom.
Okay. And what is
Her
her name?
Monica.
Where was she when she passed?
She was here in Fountain Hills, Arizona.
Is she lighter haired like you?
Yes.
Is hers a little bit wavier though?
Yes.
Does she have a really funny laugh, and is she a little bit bossy and or gossipy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes and yes.
Yeah. And were you on about how her style was? Were you always trying to style her better?
Yeah, near the end, yes, she always had amazing style, but at the end, yes, I was trying to help her.
Yeah. She's just showing me that. And then did she live alone, or did she, at the end, was she alone? Like, was she living on her own?
She was living alone in an assisted living right behind my office. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of a one-room studio or one-room apartment kind of style? Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just, and she says that, was that what you were trying to decorate so it wasn't so bland, so it had a little bit more personality? Because it felt a little bit bland, she says, that was really hard for her, because it was like, that was just a hard transition altogether. And then physically, it feels like she wasn't as strong as she had been. Is that true?
Right. She wasn't near the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was there something going on also with her lungs? Was she struggling to catch her breath?
Yes.
So she just feels like it's hard to catch her breath, and she can't be as upright as she wanted to be. Your mom was otherwise a real go-getter, it sounds like. And again, she's in everybody's business. Is that true, your mom?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a brother, or he's the boy she's pointing? Okay, so she's pointing towards your brother as well. Is it just the two of you guys, or is she just like them better?
I also have, yeah, right. I have a brother and a sister. I'm the oldest, and then
got it.
Sister, then brother. He was the baby.
Okay, so he is the favorite. Got it. She's
great.
She's being funny. Yeah, she's being funny about it.
Well, it's funny. That is hysterical, because she used to jokingly, though it drove us all nuts, called him her masterpiece. Yeah.
That's right. So here she is, just bringing that old joke back. So that you recognize that it's her. So that you recognize that it's her. She says she was also a little bit of a pill towards the end, that she became sort of hard to manage at times. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. A little bit, not with me, but yeah.
According to her, like she felt like she says she was super uncomfortable, and sometimes she could be angry about that. Does that sound true?
That makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she hated people fussing around her, so that was really challenging.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
While I have her here, what questions do you have for her that we can look at?
Yeah. Well, let's see. I do have some. I do have, is there anything she wants me to specifically do?
With regards to her stuff?
With regards to her stuff, and with regards to my brother and sister.
Okay. I have to ask, she won't shut up about a brown purse. Does this make any sense to you? She keeps talking about her purse. And it doesn't have to be brown. Something about her purse. Was her purse left behind? What's the story about her purse?
Well, yeah, I can't find it. I could not find it.
Okay.
So it was a purse I had given her, and when I went to pack up all her stuff, I know it was there, and I could never find it.
Okay. Was it a brown or a name brand purse?
Yes, it was. It was a Michael Kors, kind of like the cream and brown.
Yeah. Okay, got it. So she's showing me that purse right now.
So does she have it?
Well, did it go to the hospital? Was there a hospital moment there?
She did go to the hospital. I don't believe it went with her.
Okay, I would call the hospital regardless.
Okay.
Just because she's saying it went, there's something about she's saying hospital and purse. So
she did go to the hospital. That's where she passed away. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do call the hospital. If they did not give you all of her stuff back, it might be there. Still.
Okay.
Did she also have this is old timey, did she have a pocketbook, like for her wallet, a zipper situation?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. The only other place that she's saying, and she's saying there's got to be two places, something about a closet and then the hospital are the two places that she wants you to look for.
The closets, I've looked everywhere, but I'm okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So she's just saying the closet again. But it feels absent-minded. It feels like
Hmm.
it's one of those things that she brought with to her. The purse was like life, if you will. You never leave home without it.
Yes,
Is how
very
she's
true.
put it. Is how she's putting it.
Okay,
So
so maybe she did have it there. Okay,
that's
I will
why,
definitely call that hospital.
yes,
That's for
call the
sure.
hospital and see if they have a Michael Kors purse. I think you're doing great with your brother and sister. I feel like you guys are all mourning differently. She just recently passed, like 3 months.
She passed 2.5 years.
Okay, it's almost 3 years. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you and your sister speak as much?
Not at all.
Okay, yeah. She only is pointing at your brother, and she's probably doing it strategically to be kind. Okay. So I never see these as accidents. Whenever I see a third sibling that the loved one is not speaking about, it's always very intentional. And so what I would say is there's no disappointment or anger there that you're not speaking to your sister. Like you don't have
Oh,
to do anything differently.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have
Thank
to
you
do
for
anything
that.
different. It sounds like your sister's personality just is it's hard. She chooses, your mom says, she's choosing this, not you. She's choosing this. Okay.
Okay.
So you
Yes.
don't have to be on sister's team or make everything right with sister. Okay. Does she have darker hair, your sister?
No, her hair's, roots, yes, but she's as
Sure.
blonde, kind of like me, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Your mom laughs and she goes, it's not her hair, it's her personality that's darker.
Oh. Oh my God, Mom. Yes. Oh, that's fantastic.
She says with your sister is just like, if you were to say the sky is blue, she's like, no, it's green. Like it just doesn't matter what anybody says. She's always, everything's really black and white. It's her shit, not your shit. It's her stuff that's in the way. It's not your stuff. It's nothing that you can do to soften her or make her different. There's nothing that you can do there. So just let it go.
Okay. That is so much of a relief, I could tell you. And what about my brother? I mean, since my mom's passing, my brother and I haven't spoken either, just because
What's his
took
name?
Michael.
And then did she always say Michael Row the Butter Store?
Yes, I think so. Yes. Yeah, she
that immediately comes through. Michael
really?
Row the Butter Store.
Yeah. And he was so much like my dad, and I know for a while when she was
taller?
not getting good care.
He's
Yes,
taller.
he's tall.
And then is he a fitness guy?
No,
No. Okay, hold please.
not at all.
Is that your new husband?
Yes, that's right. Yes, that would be.
So,
oh my gosh.
And he's super handsome, she says.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. She's like, again, she's not going to talk about brothers, but she likes who you're with now. So she's really happy that you're happy. And she says you're just doing great. Again, I don't see any problem with you not being in connection. Everybody's grieving differently.
Yeah.
And so she's really clear that everybody's doing a fine job of doing the grief that they need to do around her.
Okay.
And I don't know what it is or what it means. She kind of says there's a selfishness that's built in. I don't understand that. That's your business. But she kind of says like this, either the way you guys were raised to be very individual, where like, some families are raised to be best friends and like they have to do everything together. It feels like that is not true in your family. Like she didn't raise you guys to have to be best friends. She raised you guys and you all got to decide if you liked each other or not. And she's like, this bloodline business is for the birds. So if you're not into each other, you don't have to be into each other.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
And she doesn't like your brother's dad or your dad. Is that true?
She doesn't like what?
She doesn't like her ex-husband.
Or
your brother's dad.
So no, it would be my dad too.
Yeah.
Same dad with all. She doesn't like him right now or in general.
Is that true?
No, I mean, it's tricky. They were married forever. They were married at the end. They were still married.
He was never good at, it feels like, was your dad selfish? Or is that your mom that's more selfish?
My dad was very
Sorry, Dad, if
selfish.
you hear this.
I know. Sorry, Dad. Very narcissistic. Life
Yeah.
revolved around him.
So she's saying that again, your siblings you guys all have a thread of that.
I
And
see.
so
Okay.
it's more like, again, it's how you're raised. So it's not your job
Right.
to be glue. It's not your job to try to come together for
Interesting.
everybody. It's not anybody's job to be best friends.
Did she say glue? Did you say glue? How
Glue.
did that
She
come
said
up?
glue.
Oh my
She
God,
said
that's
it's not your
crazy.
job to be glue.
Because we used to always call Mom was the glue. We would
Yeah.
always say, this isn't working because the glue's not here.
Right.
Mom was the glue.
Right. And there's no
Yes.
glue. So it's okay. And it's not your job to be the glue just because she's not there.
Okay. Oh, that's such a humongous relief. Yeah, you're right. We were raised my mom would always say, you need to amount to something. So we had big expectations for careers, and we all three have wonderful careers and achievements, but that's really where the focus was. Yeah.
Right. And I think that in hard things, you guys will find times that you can come together, but there's no need for friendship here.
Okay. Okay. That's very reassuring.
Yeah. She says there wasn't anything to fight over. Is that true? In terms of money or stuff?
No money,
Yeah.
just her jewelry, and it shouldn't have been a fight, but it became a humongous fight.
Yeah. And it shouldn't be. She's like, there's nothing, like, again, the value left behind are the stories that you guys have about her.
Yes.
And again, she has some fun, the way she puts it, she's some funny stories, your mom.
Really, yeah. She had an amazing personality.
Yeah. And
everybody loved Mom.
Yeah, but she also says that she could be, like, the way she puts it is she feels like there's a little bit of dizziness there, forgetfulness at times. And so you guys all have funny stories about things that Mom wasn't perfect at. And so she says, lean into those. Because that's what she
cute.
wants you remembering is like the funny things that you guys could make fun of her about. That's she says that's you're loved when they can make fun of you.
Okay. Oh, very cute. I like that.
Yeah.
Very,
but I
very
would say
cute.
that she feels fine on the other side. I want to say, is there a grandma that she would be with her mom? It feels like she's with somebody who's of that variety of somebody either
is it a female or could it be a male?
She's showing me an older woman who would be in the grandma category.
Yeah, it would be her mother then.
Okay. So
probably her mother.
And she had curly hair too, Grandma?
Yes.
So she's with Grandma. They're not best friends, don't worry. But they're together.
They weren't.
She just wants you to know that she's met her mom up there.
Good.
And then there's a best friend or a sister. There's another woman in her age category that she's with.
Okay. I think I know. What does she look like?
She has longer hair, but they have more fun together, she said. I don't know if they went on a cruise together or if they would be doing cruise life in heaven, but that's how it feels. Like they are a riot. They're
Oh, how nice. Okay.
She's having the time of her life with her friend.
Lottie. It would be her name, Lottie. I bet it's Lottie. And she was her cousin. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like sisters.
Yeah. And then it also, is there a medium-sized to bigger sized dog?
Yes.
And not short hair, but not long hair, but in between hair. Feels like a little bit fuzzy.
Yes.
Okay.
It could be several of them, but yes. Does she have a name or no?
I don't get names always, so forgive me. This one feels more of the tan brown variety. But again, has like a longer, and the face is so sweet and just wants to make out and just like the sweetest, calmest baby. Like, so she's showing me this baby as being with her as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can name names and I can check in.
So it's either Princess or Nina or Rico.
It's of the girl. I'm going to go with Nina more than Princess. Is Nina the calmer of the three?
Yes.
That's who it feels like to me, is Nina. And again, really like, soul baby. Yes, she was. Oh, yeah. Total soul baby.
Absolutely, yes. Okay.
So she's there with Mom as well. Okay.
Oh, how nice.
So Mom is not aloning it upstairs. feels very drama free for her now. She is free
Nice.
of the physicality of the body where she wasn't able to be herself. Now she
Hmm.
gets to have a lot more fun up there.
Oh, how nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
That's so reassuring in so many levels. I can't even tell you.
You are welcome. And I hope you
Thank
find
you.
this purse because, again, she was bringing up the purse also.
I
So,
know. I'm going to
yeah.
call. I don't know if after how long they keep them or not,
Right.
or
I
why they
don't
don't
know.
call. But yeah, could not find it anywhere. It had driven me nuts. Yeah.
I bet so. I bet so.
Okay, I will
Well, I mean,
find
just,
out.
yeah, who knows? Who knows? The way she puts it is,
Hmm.
it was at the hospital. So, yeah. Any other thoughts, questions?
Whether it's for her or yeah, is so I've kind of embarked on a lot of writing, and I have some books out, but I'm looking, and she knew about this one big book I've been writing and trying to find a literary agent for it to go a different path, trying to know what to do with it. It just, if you feel any energy around that, if she says anything around it,
Is
kind
this
of a direction,
is this a more
sort of my encore career.
yeah, is this a more personal memoir style book or on the
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
okay.
Yes, it
That's what she's
is.
saying. She asks, did you remember to be yourself in it or were you writing it for other people?
Being myself in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But it is also a bigger story. So it's like memoir
Right.
plus, where the
Right.
memoir parts are my stories, but the plus is an overriding kind of ideology.
Right. So she's saying you have to choose a lane in it, is how she's putting it.
Okay.
It feels too big right now and it needs to be condensed a little bit. So there's editing that still needs to go in. And the editing is perhaps in the memoir side, not in the
Okay.
ideology side. And from the memoir side, she says, and this is her language, you need to swear more. You need to put actually a little bit more cursory to it because she says
Really?
that's more honest and more approachable for people to hear it that way.
Oh, interesting.
Her big thing is your personality has to be there, but it's really hard in story to cut out the parts that we think are important to share.
Yes. Yeah.
Nobody else is interested in.
Is going to care. Okay.
So
Interesting.
she says you have to still edit the memoir portion of that
Mhm.
and
Okay.
really be succinct on the who it's for and what it's for.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good
And
advice.
then
Yeah.
you'll find the agent for it. The reason that the agent can't be found yet is it's still actually too, she says, icky. Sorry.
Too icky. Icky. Mom, what do you mean by icky?
Still too personal. Still too personal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She says that's icky. Nobody wants to read the too personal stuff.
Okay. Okay.
So,
all right.
yeah,
Okay.
she says, but bring your bold personality into it. Make sure that it's bold and well, like, again, really make sure you're making your mark in your voice, but not too icky.
Okay. That's very funny. Okay. Okay. All right.
Balance that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Okay. Sounds good. It's a direction, that's for sure. It's good.
Yeah, but it sounds like that's where the literary agent hasn't been able to find you or it yet. Is
Okay.
that it
Okay.
still has too many emotions in it.
Okay. All
And
right.
again, it's still, the story is still a little bit stuck. So the other part of it is either working with a friend or a therapist in the editing of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And
She
we
also keeps, she / guides angels, because whenever we're talking about these things, I sort of get a both and message. I get the book Shift Happens, and I cannot think of the author's name, but she's putting that in with how this can be written. So they, again, I have to offer the angels guides are giving me these guidance pieces as well. shift happens. I can't, his name starts with an R, I think, Richard something. Anyway,
That's the name of a book to look at, you mean?
the name of a book, just as a way to, like a formula to follow. And then the other one that they are offering is The Big Leap, Gay Hendricks, again from a formulaic space
Okay.
of
Mm-hmm.
both anding memoir with intentionality.
Yes. Okay.
So
Yeah, and the first one was shift or shit or shift.
I wish it was shit, but it's shift.
Got it. Just so there is the F there. Got
That's
it.
right. Shift happens. And you know it is in that vein that he used the F in there to
Yeah.
sell more
Yeah.
books. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, smart. Okay.
Yes.
Really good.
Yes.
And does she see anything, or do you, for just my future, where Jeff and I will live? What if money will be fine just with the recession coming? I'm an architect by trade, so that's why I've been through 2 recessions with it.
Oh,
But
yeah. No, I feel you there.
yeah.
You guys need more water. It feels like you're in the wrong location for the desert. It does feel like to start exploring either beach areas from Texas to Florida to California. Just go figure out they say the Carolinas are fine also. But you guys need to find beach land for yourselves at this stage. You need more humidity, you need more water around you. And it's fine if it's
Okay.
lake life. I'm fine with lake life for you. But they're really clear and they're pointing more to the east than the west. They say California and then they laugh a little like,
Oh yeah, California's out.
As if. So
Yeah. We
again,
left there for a reason. Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
then they go Texas, Florida, Carolinas. Okay. I'm looking at bigger picture. Again, she smiles. She loves your husband. She's really attentive.
Yeah, she does.
He takes really good care of you, she says, and he is not somebody who's ever trying to take you down or put you in a box and lets you get to be you and do you. I feel like you both are great cheerleaders for each other. So like in big picture, recession or not, I feel like you guys are stable. You guys will figure it out. You know how to do math. You're fine. I think the bigger part is just there's always those layers of insecurity. So again, finding out where you guys potentially want to graduate / retire to and or spend the next few years of your lives having fun. That matters. And or looking for that vacation place that's always going to be your water spot and you can still come back to Arizona if you want to.
I see. Okay.
Architecturally speaking, again, I feel like we're in this. I go big and broad on this one. I really think building is going to go again. I think this is a 2-year. I don't think it's a big term recession. We're clearly in one. I don't think it's coming. I think it is here. We're just not saying it out loud. I think we're already in it. I think we're all feeling a squeeze right now. We're all seeing the layoffs right now. It's already been happening for the last 2 years. It's just no one will say it out loud.
Say the words, yeah.
But in the next 2 years, I think we're going to see again a rise in building and income and all of those things because again, we're repressing building when we need housing massively, in particular in our country for the population. So I don't think you're going to be out for too long if you are. But what I also see is, are you not just doing, excuse the language, but this is how it's being said to me. Are you not just doing rich people houses? And are you not just building out really unique, specialized, custom homes? Because if you're not in that, so as long as you're in the custom space,
That's all I do.
you'll never be out of work. So you don't really have to worry from Sedona to the Carolinas to wherever it is that you're doing custom. Now, again, if you are stuck in just looking at your state, you can branch to maybe some of these other areas. One of the things that they're very clear about is if you guys were to move to a Florida or a North Carolina, one of the things that you can specialize in is what they call weatherproof homes. So making clear and sure that no matter what weather shows up, that you are well built in, that hurricane and otherwise your your work
Okay.
will
Okay.
withstand.
Mm-hmm.
Again, being a community leader, being a voice for women, being an author, being in that space, you're living out the extra side of your life that you've always needed to have for you. This to me feels like not necessarily where you're going to make all your money, but it does feel like a place where you leave legacy behind. And so this
Okay.
to me feels like legacy projects, and of that variety, it just feels like, because I wasn't not going to do it anyways. It can never be necessarily about money. And that's not to say that you won't get on TV. It's not to say that you won't get accolades and recognition for it, but it'll not probably be your primary income source.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of retirement and just calling it quits and timing out on everything, it's really dependent on, again, where you guys choose to move and what your bottom dollar is, bottom
Right.
slash
Right.
top dollar is. But I could see you guys calling it at 55 to 60 and just being done. So it's really your choices. I don't see
Okay.
you slaving for the rest of your life. I don't think that's in your cards.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, my husband has been talking now that we love our home in Fountain Hills. We moved here 4.5 years ago and have land and a view and it's beautiful. But he's now talking that he would like more land and a ranch.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Again, it's a yes and. It's yes
Mm-hmm.
and if I get a beach house. You have
Mm-hmm.
you need water, stat.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about him as much, but your body needs water. And
Yeah.
so you need to be in that position. And I think if there's a ranch, then it has to have water element on it. So whether it
So
be a
some kind of a lake or something or river.
lake,
Yep.
something of that nature, it
So
has to have
true.
water. Again, I don't put anything beyond what either of you guys want in terms of what you're manifesting and what you're creating for each other with each other. It's interesting though, when I hear ranch, I get drawn to Tennessee. Everything is east for you guys. So it's really interesting that you're in Arizona. I'm not positive you're in the right state.
Yeah, and the move to Arizona was because all of our kids are still in California.
Yeah.
And so now grandbabies are happening in
right.
California and I got to be close.
That's right.
Been, yeah.
Yeah. So again, balance that out. Take it for what you want. They do say lakes are fine. So again, if you can't make it to the east, they're saying lake life is okay too. But you guys need to be near a water element. And
Near
again,
water.
we've
Okay.
got Idaho has a great water element. You guys are just maybe in the wrong state is really how it feels.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
explore
Wow.
some of the other spaces and places that might have more water on them.
Okay. Oh, I
Okay.
like that. All right. Interesting. I don't know if I have any more. Oh my God, that was so much great info.
Yay. Yes.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks
Oh
for
my
having
gosh,
me, and
yes.
thanks for asking and letting me do the thing that I know how to do.
Yes. So now do we close the mediumship part in any way? Are we? Because I have more questions for you in general, so we can.
No,
Are we?
I honestly, and this is, again, makes me a bad spiritual person, but I honestly only operate in puppies and rainbows. And so I just don't feel like it necessarily has to be closed. I also want
Yes.
my guests to be able to explore their own intuition afterward. And so
Okay.
I leave that portal open for you guys. And
Open
so
as is.
I silently just shut my vibes down. All good.
Right. Okay. Well, bye to my mama, who I know is always around me.
Yes.
She gives me signs so often.
Yes.
So let's dive into a couple other things if you
Okay.
still have
Yeah.
time for me.
Yep.
Great. This has been fantastic. And I always enjoy my interviews, but I'm immensely enjoying this one.
Thank you.
Yes. So when people feel like they might have that intuitive sort of ability kind of showing itself here and there, like I'll give you an example. I have had premonition dreams a lot. I'd had that thing where I call someone and go, did this just happen to you? And it did. But how do you enhance that? Do you work with people to enhance that? And how do people do that?
Yeah. So I do have a program that I have available online. Ironically, Rise Unlimited. You said Rise earlier and how you want women to rise. That was a big piece for me as well. So I do have a program called Rise Unlimited. People can take online. And I have a quickie masterclass that you can take to just understand what is intuition, what is psychic for yourself. I think that really helps to just understand what the heck it is. In terms of premonition, what I always like to say is as soon as our ego understands and believes that we can do this, our ego then becomes what I call a cock block. Because then we start looking for it and expecting it. And like
Yeah.
most days are a freaking Tuesday. Most days nothing is going to happen. And so if
Right.
you're constantly looking for validations and constantly looking for psychic intel for yourself, you're just really not going to see it. I think it's really anomaly related when we do get those hits on behalf of other people or even for ourselves. If we're wanting to grow it, we are growing it not just for ourselves, we're growing it for other humans. And so that's what I think is really an important thing. When we're growing it for ourselves, we're growing it in the space of trusting our personal actual voice, our personal actual voice, our higher self, as they say, our intuition, as they say, which is to say that when I say, like, if you were to invite me to a party, my now truth is, I really want to go to your party. I'm probably not going to go to your party. It's not because I don't like you. It's because I really don't do well at parties around a lot of people because my introverted self shows up and I'm really a wallflower. But I want to go, but I'm not going to go. So I'm going to click maybe to it. But most of us will not allow for that intuitive nature, for that true voice to come through that says, God, I really don't want to go to the party. I really don't want to go to the party.
Right.
I feel
Right.
obligated to go to the
Obligated.
party. And we will override our truth with that.
Okay. I see. Yes.
So
yes.
intuition is talking all the time. And what I always like to say is like, just even the first question that you ask yourself every morning when you are getting ready for your day is, what am I hungry for? And how many of us actually override our truth? Because it's inconvenient to listen to our intuition, actually. It's inconvenient to hear what we really want. And I always use Runaway Brides as the Runaway Bride with Julia Roberts. That's how old I am.
Yes.
As sort of
I must be the same age.
right?
So
as that sort of thing. It's like, what eggs do you want? If you want eggs Benedict and that's really what you want, but you're like, I guess I'll have an English muffin. Every day you override the thing that you want. You're basically saying to your intuition, F off, I can't hear you.
Right. Okay.
But if you choose even once a week where you're like, okay, today, it's sort of like yes day. Yes, I'm going to listen to my intuition day. Yes, I'm going to go have eggs Benedict. You are now online with you and your intuition.
Yep. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like I hear my intuition all the time. I make every decision based on that. Kind of like I might make a conscious thought, a logical idea for what that decision should be, but then I have to go, okay, what do I feel like inside now with that decision? You know, does my stomach feel tight? Do I feel, or does it just give me this resonating kind of calmness? So yeah, interesting.
And it's a daily act. It's a daily practice to be in your intuition. The psychic piece, it's very rare that I'm truly psychic for myself because I'm on the path that I'm meant to be on. So the psychic only really shows up when somebody's trying to hurt me or when something's trying to hurt me.
Okay, I see. Yes. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'll give just two quick examples. One year, right after we got married, we were going out for lunch and we were riding our bikes and we went out our back gate and I heard something and I noticed that somebody was stealing tools out of my husband's truck. He's a contractor by trade. And I yelled, oh my God, somebody's stealing from us. And the man who was stealing from us ran and jumped in his car and was about to drive off. And I jumped on the hood of the man's car like a 120-pound puma. Thought, I'm going to stop a moving vehicle. That's what's going to happen here. My little tiny little body is going to stop this obvious criminal, Caucasian man from stealing tools out of the back of my husband's car. Well, he looks at me and I look at him and I'm like, please, man, don't do it. And at that moment, my husband gets to his side of the vehicle and gets the man in a chokehold chokehold. And of course, he
Yes.
guns it. He's in his car and he guns it to get away. And so I hear a voice very loudly in my head say, roll off now, get off the car now. I roll in that instant and I landed in a perfect spot where I was not hurt. I could have
Oh
otherwise
my
cracked my
gosh.
neck. Something worse could have happened, but I
Yeah.
heard that voice. Psychic showed up in that minute because it had to override my stupidness right then. The other
Right. In
one,
order to help you.
right,
Yes. Oh
because
my
otherwise
gosh.
I was going
Yeah.
to get really hurt, damaged, and otherwise.
Yeah.
So I heard that voice very distinctly. That voice shows up occasionally, but it is
Mm-hmm.
not every day walking with me. Okay. That voice is a
Mm-hmm.
totally psychic, different guides, angel, whomever voice. The other time my guides, angels, whomever saved my life was I knew I had cancer. I knew I had cancer, and every doctor told me I didn't. Every single biopsy, every single image, everything in my body that the
Wow.
doctors were looking at, every blood panel showed fine, clean, clear, not sick. And
Did you
I
have
was like,
certain symptoms
I had
or
symptoms
or
and all I had all the things that said something was wrong. And all the doctors,
yeah.
it was in a time of COVID. The doctors were basically
Yes. Right.
blacked
Right.
out, couldn't
Ugh,
see beyond
yeah.
what was going on. And bless their heart,
Exactly.
they were managing so many fires at that moment, having nothing to do with politics. They were managing fires left and right.
Sure.
And we were all coming in complaining of symptoms of something. So if you can
Right.
imagine what they're dealing with from that perspective, you can have empathy for what I was experiencing. But I knew I had cancer. I knew I had cancer. And I just kept saying, I said to doctor after doctor, I think it's cancer. And
They must have been like, hey, you're crazy. Yeah.
yeah, you're
Okay.
crazy. But so
Wow.
but it is generally my life is a Tuesday. So my psychic is not on high alert for me every day, all freaking day.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
then it
that's
turned out that you did have cancer.
sure did. And spent 2021 in surgeries and chemo and radiation and all the things. And here I am. All fine. All I will
Oh,
say
fine
is
now. Good. Thank you for that. Good to know.
trust that psychic, trust that intuition.
Yes.
When something is on repeat, when it will not leave your
Hmm.
body, when it is so loud inside of you, when you hear an actual voice or you feel those prickly prickers on you when you walk into a
Yep.
room, trust those instincts. But again, don't assume that they're going to be there all the time because you're not
Right.
all the time in
Because they're
danger.
not.
Well,
That
you're not
is
all the time in
interesting.
danger.
Yeah, and you're right. And the ones that I have had are those too. Like I recently kept having this dream that there was something wrong, that my mom came to me and there was something wrong with my heart. And my mom had, both my parents had heart issues. And I was like, what? I'm fine. But I kept getting it. And so I'm like, I'm just going to go do all the tests because I don't really have symptoms, but and sure enough, there's some issues. So that are very early and that should be easy,
Right.
but things that we can correct and do. And a good thing that I looked into it. Yeah.
And
So
you trusted that noise and you
yeah. And that's,
decided to do
yes.
it.
And that's
Yeah.
because years ago, when my dad passed very unexpectedly. He never had heart issues and he one day just collapsed, his aorta burst. And my mom was the one that always had heart issues. So, but 2 days before that happened with my dad, which was like 7 years ago now, I had a dream on that Saturday and I woke up in the worst mood and I was so angry because in my dream, my dad had passed away and my mom was a wreck. And I did nothing with that, just sort of go, that was an annoying dream. And that was kind of the beginning of maybe 7 years ago of me realizing that these things keep happening. And then sure enough, that Monday morning is when he passed away. So it's like, yeah, and then the same thing happened with my husband, Jeff's dad. I had a dream that my dad was there saying, tell Jeff, I'm so, so sorry.
Yeah.
And sitting outside of a hospital. And I was like, why? And then sure enough, that next day. So yeah, you're right. You just have to, but you get that feeling where like, okay, people are going to think I'm nuts if I believe this, but you have to get rid of that feeling because
And I think we're all able to do what I do. I don't think I'm unique. I don't think I'm special in that way. I think we can all do this, but it is learning how to tune in and tune out. And by tune out, I mean tune out the ego, tune out the judgment, tune out the criticism, tune out that doubt piece that doesn't believe in it. You have to tune out all that noise to
Yes.
trust what you're going to say. You could have said no to me at any one of the questions that I asked as I'm
Right.
bringing in your mom. And if that happens, I have to not let my ego go, oh, you're terrible at this. You shouldn't do this. I have to shift my body and shift my
Yeah.
energy to get the right person in the room.
I see.
And a
Wow.
lot of people will be like, nope, I can't. Nope, I'm not going to do it. Nope, I'm not a psychic. But it's really
That's
just
amazing.
tuning
Yeah.
your body.
Tuning into that.
Yeah.
Wow. So now before I let you go, because Willow, this has been fantastic. What if our listeners, I'm sure at this point some of our listeners are like, oh my
Sign
goodness,
me up.
especially yes. So because a lot of them actually knew my mom, know me,
Aw.
and I'm sure what they've just heard, they're like, wow. So how is the best way for them to reach you? And are there programs and things that you're doing that they may be able to sign up for?
Yes. So any one of you guys can come in and do the just regular psychic medium readings. You can go to willowbradner.com. So it's my name, pretty
Okay.
easy to find
Yep.
me. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook just in case you need
Under your
more
name as well.
intel on me.
Okay.
But on my website, you can easily just hit the book here button and schedule that. Again, I do have a little master class. So if you're really intrigued and you want to learn how to use your own intuition a little bit more, the master class is free. And I just think it's a really lovely way to start playing with your own intuition.
Yes, that's great.
And then should you just happen to be in Colorado, I do these monthly wine and woos, both in Denver
I
and in
saw
Salida.
that.
And if you guys want to have
Yes.
one in Arizona, I fly. So
Would you come here and do one?
that's
Okay, yes,
right,
the
yeah.
wine and woo. I
Yes.
saw that. That looked very cool. So when you do that, like how many people generally
you
go
can
and
have
what
as
do you
many
do?
You can have as many people as you guys want. I read up to 22 people in any given night. It's roughly 2.5, 3 hours. And I do, it's like stand-up comedy with psychic, or psychic with a side of stand-up comedy, however you look at it.
Love it.
It's super duper, duper, duper fun. So get a gaggle of friends together and let's do
Oh,
some math and
absolutely.
figure it out.
Okay. We will do that. Yes.
Yes.
And we're looking to possibly do later this year a women's event or retreat. So having you there for that may be just perfect to have you come in and do that one evening. Well, thank you so much, Willow. This has been such a treat.
Thank
I
you,
really
guys.
appreciate you. All right. Thank you for being here.